Shalom Aleichem and welcome to online Semicha. Now sometimes we get rewarded for the common practice that everybody knows that it comes around Pesach. Everybody's verfrumt, everybody goes lifnai v'lifnim mishuras adin, and everybody pitches in perhaps more than they are legally, halachically expected because of whatever reasons. There is, the Arizal says, muftach lo yishlayach kol hashana, etc., etc. However, there is a halachic benefit that comes about because of this common actions, that everybody behaves properly, everybody is machmir. There is a shaila setshuvah shara Ephraim, Siman Hey, that brings an interesting shaila. He says, okay, you have Pesach to Kekalim, you're very, very careful about your Pesach to Kekalim not to get mixed up with Chametz to Kekalim. So the Shara Ephraim brings a shaila. A bird carried a spoon, and the spoon that the bird carried was dropped into a fleishik dish, to a fleishik pot. And the question that he was asked, the bird is traveling, is flying with his spoon, it's most probably, you would think, it's non-kosher, it's definitely chametzik, and wherever it fell in is garbage. That's what you think. It's at the Chumrah of Pesach. Believe it or not, the Shara Ephraim paskin that if it's an Ir Sheruba Yehudim, if it was in a city where most of the people in the city were Jewish, because the Yiddish people in the city are machmir and Hilchas Pesach, so the majority of the kalim during that period of time are kosher Pesach. So if a bird drops something in, a spoon like that, into a keli, into your kedera, into your pot, you have nothing to worry about. Now, he bases this on the Gemara in Chul and Daf Tzadikei Amud Beis, where the Gemara says, Rabbi Nachman min Hardah once came to visit of Kahana, and it was an Erev Yom Tif, Erev Yom Kippur, and a raven was flying over with a piece of meat and dropped it there. And Rav Nachman was asked, Rav Nachman asked, could I eat it? Or do we suspect that this is the bird schlepped around meat from non-kosher, which is typically the Isser of Basar Shanisal Min Ayin. So Rav Kahana responded and said, Shkoil v'achol, today you could go and eat. The Hatera Shchich Tfei, because such a special day where people are careful, Erev Yom Tov, Erev Yom Kippur, people are careful to eat only kashrus behidur. So there is many more kosher behemoths, kosher meat that's available for the raven, even more than the non-kosher. So the possibility of this being non-kosher is very slim. Can't essen gesundheit. So the Shara Ephraim uses the same logic, and he says, being that it's a season and it's a place, remember, it has to be only if you live in a place, in a community where Ruba Yehudim, and the Yehudim are machmir to have kosher up to the best level of kashrus. That's the benefit. Now, if anything like something funny like this happens, we can rely on that the bird slept a kosher spoon, kosher Pesach spoon. Now, once we're talking about animals, which is a funny story, I figured I'll tell you another halacha that's circulating amongst different poskim today, with this concerning an animal on Shabbos. Now, we know there's ganzna halachas of which pets, or how to deal with a pet in Shabbos, which animals you're allowed to feed. There's many halachas. So if somebody has a cat pet at home, so he's going to study the halachas of how to deal with it on Shabbos. But a shaila that was asked lately is, there is a room that's dark. Obviously, the Yid is not going to put on the switch on Shabbos. He's going to pick up his cat and bring the cat near the switch, and hopefully the cat will play around and push the switch up. Is the Yid allowed to pick up the cat and bring him closer to the switch, so he should open up the light on Shabbos? This is the shaila that's circulating a lot today. And the discussion is twofold. A, as I mentioned before, you first have to decide if pets are muktzah or not. So this is, even today's poskim, there is a machlokes between Rabbi Ovadia Yosef and Rav Moshe Feinstein about a pet, which is domesticated, which you have in your house. The muktzah per se of a animal doesn't necessarily apply to perhaps in those animals that live with you. And this is the machlokes if those type of animals are considered muktzah or not. So let's put that aside. Let's say you take the more lenient opinion and believe that because some of them are domesticated, some of them you play around with, some of them you have all time in your house, it's not muktzah. But then you have the second point. How exactly are you going to pick up the cat and bring him to the door switch? Bring him to the electric switch? What are you going to do? Are you going to bring him and drag the switch? You just don't want your hand opening the switch, so you're going to push the cat's leg or the cat's hand to do it. That for sure, you're doing the malacha. Are you going to bring the cat close enough, and so close that it's almost impossible that he won't open the switch? So some say that this is similar to two halachas. It's similar to the halacha of somebody saying, you know what? I know that there is an isser of zaira. Zaira is where the wind separates the husk from the kernel and throw, right? So I'm not doing it. I just threw it up in the air. But yet you're not allowed to do it. The same, you could say, obviously, that if I schlep the cat close enough and it's going to be done through the cat, it's like the malacha is being done ultimately through me. Or if somebody says, another halacha in Shulchan Aruch, I'm not allowed to draw blood on Shabbos. I'm just going to put those worms that suck the blood, those leeches or whatever it is, I'm going to put on the wound and let them do the work. Obviously, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to draw the blood. If you put things there that will do the job, it's also a problem. Now, even if you think that this is a malacha, two things are doing it together, the man with the cat, that's also not the greatest heter, because we find that mechamer, you're not allowed to do a malacha together with your behema on Shabbos also, because we find that a behema, your animal, has to rest. If it's yours, it has to rest like you have to rest. So is there a way how you could allow an animal, a pet cat, a pet bird, or whatever you have in your house, to help you with your problems with the lights on Shabbos? So they summarize it like this. Concerning the issue of muktzah, as I mentioned before, there's a machlokes between Rav Ovadia Yosef and Rav Moshe Feinstein, and many poskim say that because it's a din of muktzah, hamekol yesh le'ami lismoich. When you're talking about your pets that you have in your home, if you want to be easy, you want to be lenient and not consider those pets muktzah, perhaps you're fine. Bringing the cat close enough that it must open the light, that you can't. If, however, you bring the cat close, but it's in a position that if the cat goes a little tipsy, goes a little vild, it will open the light. But it's not a must in the position that you put him. Some believe that is allowed to be done, and there's no issues of Isurei Shabbos.